Hello and welcome to Jamie's Motion Graphics, episode 7! Today we are making this! All of this has been made in After Effects and all of it has been made from scratch. I will show you step by step how to make it yourself. Okay, here we are in After Effects. We are, as always, going to start off with a new composition. It is, as always, going to be this. I just turned this to 30 frames per second because I will need some halfway points, and it's easier to find a halfway point at 30 frames per second than at 25. I'm actually considering moving it up to 32 because then, so I actually did there. But then I can actually find not only the halfway point of a second, but also the quarter and such. So yeah, it makes it a little bit easier for me to do that if I decide to do that. So for this tutorial, I actually made a color scheme because, well, I wanted to have matching colors. You can just, well, download one from the internet or wherever you want to find it. It is going to be on my composition. You don't have to because you can pick the colors from the top left if you just have it selected. I want it on there. I'm going to lock it and then I'm going to make all the layers underneath it. It should be fine. So new solid, we're going to start off with a background and obviously I'm going to pick the color from my color scheme. So from here on out, every layer is going to be below the color palette so that it will be up top, and obviously that is going to disappear in the end, so yeah, it should be obvious. Anyhow, I'm going to pick this color as a background. I don't know if this is the right selection of colors for what I'm about to make because I don't know exactly what I'm going to make. I just know the beginning because I did think about it a little bit. And we're going to start off with a nice square. Obviously, we want to have a perfect square, so we're going to hit mask path shape, and then hit the reset to rectangle, and then set this to, oh, it's actually on 540. So it's going to be 540 with this being 260, this being 740, and this being, what's that then, 460, yes. Okay, so it's 200 by 200, centered exactly in the middle, which makes it a little bit easier to rotate. Well, not a little bit, it's actually quite a hassle if you don't do that. So we're going to animate the mask path, so let's hit the 0 key and we're going to animate that for, let's tune it down a little bit. I did make a 30-second composition setting. It's a little bit much, but yeah, we'll see how much we actually need. Let me kind of see. Yeah, I had 32 frames, which means that if I want to do something for 1 second, I need to go to the 32 frames, which is 1 second in the top left. Yeah, if you're having trouble finding the right one, page up and page down will allow you to scroll through it. Yeah, let's just make another point here. And then what we're going to do is we're going to make it zoom in. First of all, we're going to scale it. So hit S, make a point, one of these, yeah, you don't, yeah, you do have to. Just hit the stopwatch, set this to 0, and then go to 32 again, 32, and then set it back to 100. So what it does now is, now it comes in, as you can see, it will come in. You can, of course, make these keyframes into the Easy Ease keyframes if you want to. I personally don't want to. So yeah, Easy Ease makes that it zooms in very rapidly in the beginning, and then in the end it's more of a smooth transition, but I like the pop effect in the end. So yeah, I'm going to keep it this way. Anyhow, with this being done, yeah, this is a little bit sad, just coming in like that, so we're going to add a rotation as well. We're going to set a keyframe at the end first in this case. Well, I should have done the end first in the previous one as well. And we're going to add a minus 180 in the beginning. You can also do plus 180, we'll just rotate the other way. How does it rotates an entire, or not? Oh no, it's about right. It's a half a rotation. You can also set an easy ease keyframe for this. So now it comes in rotating and such, and you can even add more stuff to it. Oh, I'm now working in my background, I just realized. Okay, let me add a new layer. New solids. And we're going to pick the same color because this is actually our new background. And now this one, go to layer, solid settings, and just grab another color for your rectangle. So that's how easy it is. Obviously with the colors already selected, you can pretty much do whatever you want to the colors. Yeah, so we have our square now. So let's make something happen to the square, because we're now going to slice the square in 4. Well, first in 2, then in 4. And that is going to happen right at the moment it stops zooming in, because we want that really full action version. And we're going to make a line with the pen tool. Yeah, I can't do that in this layer because this layer will make the wrong color. So we're going to make a shape layer here because we want, well, something cool. Anyway, put it under the color palette again. And then we're going to pick up the pen tool. Stroke width, I don't know. I think 5 is enough. So in the top right here, you can see where I am with my cursor. And I want to be at 320, so X is 320, and Y is 180. The problem with all these shape layers is, no, I'm just going to do it by hand. The problem with these shape layers is you can't really see where the points are. I know in the newer versions of After Effects, this isn't Photoshop. The newer versions actually have start and end points to them, but I haven't upgraded to the newer versions yet. So I'm just going to line up on site. So I'm going to put this one on the corner point. Then this one I'm dragging out till, well, this actually crosses the corner and I'm far enough away for my taste. And then I'm going to do the same thing here. So it's kind of an old school way of doing things. If you have a newer version, there's start and end, and you can just set them to actually meet in the middle. The middle is the most important part because if they don't meet in the middle, it looks weird. Anyhow, shape layer then. Let's see what we have, because we want to not have a line, and we definitely don't want it to appear like this, but that will be later concern. Stroke. So we're going to go to shape 1, stroke 1, and then, hang on, dashes, that's the one. So hit the plus, and we're going to set this to 40. If you'd like something smaller, just set a different number. It's easy as that. Yeah, here you can see that if you set it to 0, it's a line, and then it becomes bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. And, well, whatever. I'm going to set it to 40, as I said. I like 40. It's not too crowded. I think a little bit smaller might be good as well. 30 then. Okay, yeah, I don't really mind that. Yeah, it has to be well visible on whatever you're watching it at, because if you're making something for a mobile phone, yeah, that's going to be like this size. So then you have to up the size of your line, so the stroke. And you can do that here, by the way. So if you want to have a stroke of 10, you can set that here as well. Actually, I kind of like that. It's a little bit big, but no, I'm going to set it to 5. Anyhow, this line, this shape now, we're going to attempt to copy paste it. I don't actually know if I can rotate it then. I'm assuming I can, but okay. Stand on the shape, hit Control D, or just go to Edit, Duplicate. It's the same thing. And we're going to edit the second one to be reversed, so to be on the other side. We're going to edit them, well, later, as in what they need to do. So transform, I think I need to have transform, and then rotation, let's see, 90 degrees. Yep, that makes sense. And now we see that the middle point looks kind of weird, but because it's not really symmetrical. It doesn't matter, both of them won't exist at the same time, so you won't actually be able to see that, that point. So now let's see, we're going to get the path on both of them. This is the one, and also this is the one. So I'm going to line them up with the last frame where this thing is coming in, but I'm also going to do or put them, hang on, how many frames should we take? Let's say a quarter second. So that would be, I forgot what I picked. I think I picked 32, right? Yeah, so, okay, we're going to just make one over here as well. And now we can hit U. Well, we could have already done that. And you can see only the path remains because that's the one we're editing. So we're going to just make them at 100% here, and over here they should be at 320, 320. Sorry, 640. 360, that's what they should be. Man, I even wrote down the values just so I could read them up. Anyhow, the middle point is over there somewhere. We can see in the top right where we are. It seems that I'm way off on my estimate. Hang on. Yeah, 640, 360. Yeah, it's about right. It's not the actual pixel, but yeah, well, we can live with that. And if you can't live with that, just go and zoom in and just go to whatever pixel you do like. Oh, I don't know what that was, because those numbers don't make sense at all. Yeah, it's about right, and you can see that now it zooms out. And well, after they've zoomed out, so after they're done doing their thing, we're going to set them to actually meet on the corners. So this is corner 1, this is corner 2, and we will edit that later. So what the point of this is. So I'm going to align them with the corners, and once we've done that, that is, by the way, one frame after the other one. So you can see it just jumps from one to the other. It's not entirely lined up. You can do that better if you want to. The problem is I don't have the start and end of this line. That makes it really hard to actually line that up. So it's going to line to get out, but yeah, as I said, they shouldn't be here at the same time. We're going to go to the end, and we're going to go, let's say, 4 pixels on. Yeah, 12, I guess. We can go to 12. So that's 3 pixels after this one. And then we're going to select the pixels of shape 2 and drop them over here. So what happens now is the first one will come out and cut the thing in half, and the second one will come out and cut the thing in 4s. The reason I'm doing this like this is because, well, I lined them out first. It just makes it easier to make sure that you have the right frame selected. Anyhow, be that as it may, we're going to go to just the shape properties again, and now we're going to see what we can do with this line. First of all, we're going to step 1 frame back, and I should have kind of done this with both of them at the same time, and this is why I did that, because then it would have been a lot easier. This is shape number 1 or shape number 2. You can make them disappear so you can see. This is shape number 1. So shape number 1, we are going to select the stroke, and the stroke color is going to be animated. So set the thing to have a point here. So add, well, just click the stopwatch, whatever. And it's going to change color, because in the next frame it's going to be the background color. And then we're going to go back to the old one, and we're going to edit the dashes. So the dashes here at 30, and the next frame they will be at 0. I believe 0 is the line. Yes, there we go. And that's exactly what we want. We want to have the line as a line, but as a line in the background color. But because it needs to appear to actually be cut in half. I don't know why I actually put that back into the corner points. I could have just left the whole line there. So yeah, you could have left the whole line there if you want to. And yeah, I just assumed I couldn't. I don't know why. Anyhow, this one, same thing, stroke. Just set the color to actually be edited. Also set the dashes to be edited. And then go to the next frame. You can do that with page up, page down as well. So page up will move left, page down will move right. And we're going to select the color of the background. We're going to set the dashes to 0. So what it looks like now is it will come in. It will get sliced, and then we have 4. But we don't actually have 4. So we need to, once they start moving, because obviously that's what they're doing now, once they start moving out, they are actually going to be separate entities. So we're going to go back to our initial red solid, going to go to the masks, and we're going to go to add a new mask. So adding a new mask is very easy. You just take the pen and you just draw in your new mask the way you want it to be. So I'm going to just select the corner pixels here, or at least attempt to, and we needed to have 4 different ones, so that's what we're doing. So unfortunately there's no real way to edit the other mask out, which would have been very well handy, but we're not going to be able to do that. So come on, where's my point? Did I just mess it up? I think I messed it up. Yep, I did. So yeah, make sure that it doesn't say or it doesn't have the plus sign, because that means that you're on a different mask and we don't want that. So the last one then, I'm going to start in the bottom left here. Yeah, you can see the plus here. Yeah, there. So 2. And there we go. They are going to have the same shape now. They're going to have the same color. So if we now make this one, so the original, oh sorry, this one, the original one disappear, then yeah, that should be awesome. Did I rotated the entire layer here, but it doesn't matter. So that means that the moment we want to edit these or make these come in, we actually want to make the other one disappear. So when are we going to do that? Let's say, well, this is the last frame where something happens. Let's take a few frames, 3 frames. So we're at 124. And then we're going to say, okay, this mask no longer exists, which means that the mask path on the previous frame is where we are. So that still exists. But on this frame, we're going to add a new one and just say, let's take the entire mask path and just throw it away. That's the only way to do it as far as I know. So the mask will be in the middle and then it's gone. And hopefully this will still appear to be the same square. It's not entirely the same square, but now we can see the differences. There are actually quite a lot of differences. So I need to edit them a little bit so that they actually appear to be the same. Actually, it's not too bad. There's a little bit of a problem with the transparent pixels, but it's not too bad. So we're just going to keep it this way. And then at this point, so the same two frames, we're going to make these actually exist. So the mask path is going to be edited for all of them. I can actually just do, oh, that wasn't good. I thought that would work, but yeah, we can just hit the M for mask and then all the masks show up. So the previous frame, these don't exist. So make sure that you select all of them and then select all of those masks and just put them outside of the composition. So what happens now is here, as you can see, all of these masks will be outside the composition. But once they reach this point, they will actually trade places with the old one. It's like a little trick, I guess. But now we have 4 different parts, and we're also going to have to move right from this frame. So this frame should basically be the first move already. And because we have 4 masks on one layer, we can't just move the layer in this case. We have to move the masks, which is kind of, yeah, not the way we want to do that. So you can also make a different layer for each of these thingies. It actually is a little bit easier, I guess. What are we going to do? Because this is about as far as I got with the planning, and we're going to move them outwards, I guess. That would make sense. So let's pick up the mask path number 2, which is this one, and go for the next, I was at 24, let's say at, let's say over here somewhere. We are going to make the entire mask path just go there. I don't know how, I don't know whether I can actually position it correctly, but is that it is about, yeah, it's about straight, so it's good enough. This one then, I think that's this one. Oh, yeah, just select the path, and then yeah, you have to pick up the corner points. I kind of forgot about that. Just try to move it up as straight as you can, and there we go. And the last one then, yeah, so now we can see that mask 1 isn't, mask 2 isn't actually moved out properly. So yeah, that's about right. So let's turn them into circles along the way, because why not? I have nothing better to do. Reset to ellipse. Let's see what shape gets out of this. Yeah, okay, that's cool. That's cool. We can do the same here. Reset to ellipse with, of course, our point selected in time where we want to be. And then we're going to just do that for all of them. So what it looks like now is it's going to move outwards and change shape at the same time. And you can see that because we do it like this, it's going to not, we're not even going to notice that there's a change in the setup, because it appears that it's just the first part of the move. It just separates and then becomes 4 different entities. Then, okay, let's make something out of these entities. Let's, oh, that would actually be cute. We can rotate them with a quarter or something like that, so that they replace each other. Let's see if that actually works. So rotation, we already had some rotation going, which might be a problem, because that means that if we don't do this correctly, it's going to keep rotating. So let's say if I wanted to make the rotation of 90 degrees here, it will rotate the entire time, as you can see. Yeah, and that would look terrible. So what we want to do is we want to first select the old keyframe, copy, Ctrl C, and then paste, Ctrl V. We want to copy this original one, because then it won't rotate, because it stays at 0, or whatever this value was. It is 0, but it doesn't matter. So then from this point onwards, oh sorry, not from this point, from the point where we actually want it to be, I don't know where that is, hit U if you're wondering where your last point is. Yeah, this is the last point, so this is also the start of the rotation. We were at 4, so we're going to be at, let's say 16. And then at 16, we want this to be 90 degrees. You can see that it doesn't actually look the same because it isn't. This one has been moved out a little bit too far. We can fix that, of course, if we want to. So now they're all here. Now let's collapse them back into the middle, which seems like a really hard thing to do, but in fact we can just pick up the old mask things and just put them back where they were supposed to go. So here they were still triangles, and here all of a sudden they were, well, these circular things. We can just pick them up one by one and then put them back into where they were. First, we're going to make sure that whatever happened to these things is going to stay that way. So we're going to just copy paste all of these values. Yeah, if you do something wrong with so I control clicked here. You can of course control click, but you can also just, if you don't know what you did, just go to keyframe, keyframe velocity, and no, that's not it. It's the other one. Keyframe interpolation, that's what it is. And just set everything to linear. And then it will go back to being the thing that it was. So yeah, just the way it is here. There's another one. Accidentally control click them. So the way it goes is I did make the rotation here, and then I now have them at the right spot. Like this is where I want them to be, and hopefully they will stay that way, because now we're going to copy paste all of these old values. Hang on, how many frames were between this and the other one? So that's 8 plus 4. That means 28. And then we're going to copy paste all these old values. So let's see if that actually is what we wanted. So it rotated, and then it's going to form the square again. And then at the moment they come in, we should put the old one back, right? Well, that sounds about right. I mean, why not? So the old one, I don't know where it is currently. It's all the way over there because it rotated 90 degrees as well. The entire layer did. So make sure that it doesn't cross into the picture over here. I accidentally did that correctly. Obviously, I didn't really anticipate that. But I already set the value to the old one. So at this point, we're going to move that one forward. That's one frame. And then we're going to take the old one where it was still in the middle, and we're going to pick that up. Just plop it back on there. And these are going to be keyframed because at this point, so this last point, they're going to be all matched up. So we're going to move one forward in time, which is page up, or just drag it one frame. And then we're going to keyframe all of these paths. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Now the last ones are going to be replaced with something completely different. Select them. Well, not the top one. Just the 4 of the thingies here. And we're going to move that outwards. Let's put it over here. So it's going to move in, and because we know that the last frame here was the frame that we wanted. Oh, by the way, we need to make those lines disappear as well. I just realized that. The lines are still there. But because they're all still... no, because we actually first went to the last position where they form this square, and then moved one forward. we know that the next frame is going to be the square, and that's why I replaced it with the entire square. Now I want the lines to actually disappear the moment they separate. So here they actually separate. This is where the lines should still be there. So the lines, let's see, where are you? Let's do that with opacity. You can do that in several ways, of course. You can also just move them aside like I did with the other things. We're going to do it with opacity here. So we're going to go to the last one where they should exist, set opacity to 100%, then put page down, which is next frame, and then set opacity to 0 for both of them. You can also set the entire opacity to 0, so the entire layer. And then we should have no more lines, which means that in the end here, there will not be lines. In fact, there are lines. Apparently opacity not perfect. I did not know that. I don't understand how there can be anything left. So the opacity is 0, it says so. Yet there are still lines on this square, which is kind of weird because they're not supposed to be there. Okay, so let's undo the opacity move then. Go to where the opacity was still 100. Just unclick the opacity. That removes all keyframes. And instead we're going to do something else, I guess. That means that here they should still exist. And let's do the path thing, I guess. So the path is going to be locked at this point, which means they still are over here this time. And then the next frame, page down, they're going to not be here. So we're going to select them and just move them away. This one and then the other one, move them away. So yeah, now they shouldn't be there. Let's hope that it actually worked. Yes, so this time it did work. I did not know that opacity actually wasn't perfect. It's, yeah, pretty straightforward to make opacity 0, but apparently not. So yeah, we can now see they fly in, they reform into a square, and here we actually have a square. So now we need to do something with the square once again. I really don't know. I have to come up with something new now. Let's make it change color. We can actually make it change color, of course. The easiest way to do that would be to just make the entire layer change color, obviously. And that means that I need to edit the effects. So, effects and presets. I don't know why it's thinking so hard. It's not that hard. That's why it wanted to crash, but it's not going to. Change to color. We're going to drop that onto the red solid. And then we're going to select two things. First of all, this is the moment where we start changing colors. This is the last thing where it actually forms. So we're going to select the original color and then the original color again. Hang on, is this the original color? Seems weird. I think that was the original color. Yeah, I don't know. It should be. I made this red solid. Oh, well, this is the original color. And we're going to select that with both of them. Then we're going to switch on the 2 and we're going to allow it to sit there for, let's say, we have 4 pixels. So the half of the, let's say half a second. I'm not entirely sure why I have such messed up numbers now. Because I want it to be like here or something like that. But yeah, it's fine. So this is, oh, we wanted to do 16 frames, so that's 4, and then until 12, I guess. Well, we can make it until 16. I mean, yeah, nobody cares. We're going to change it then to this one, which means that the 2 is now edited as well. Let's hit U twice, and then you will see that, yeah, it's here, it's added to it, and you can see the color change over here. And you can see the color change on your screen as well now. Cool, right? So it goes through one of the other colors, which is kind of cute. It goes through this one. And then we have it to pink now. Let's make it into something a little more interesting then. So we're going to change the form again. I guess we did do slice. Let's do a morph. And let's morph it into something that's not as pretty of a thingy. Anyhow, mask path. We're going to once again put that to a shape, I wanted to say, but we want to do the color change first, and after that we want to have the change in shape. So copy paste this Control C, Control V, this last point into where you want it to be the same shape, and then it can start changing for, let's say, half a second. So we're back on track with our seconds here. So we can actually use that now to our advantage by actually being able to, well, select it a little bit easier. Yeah, let's make it into an ellipse. It's going to be a perfect circle, of course, but we don't want it to be a perfect circle. We do want it to be an ellipse. And I guess we're going to just drag it out a little bit on this side. Let's make it into more of a blob. No, zoom out. And this one as well. So let's make this into kind of the same thing. Let's see what the transformation looks like. So it will kind of morph into this. It's not a very good shape, but I'm sure you can do better. It doesn't have to be symmetrical. Let's make it non-symmetrical. And let's make it change shape a couple of times. So half a second later, which is 16. Let's make it move over here. Make the blob disappear a little. I don't know, make this one go up. I'm just making a random shape. You can do that. Yeah, I want all 4 points to do something. So just make it an interesting shape so that it actually looks like it's like moving around. You can see here what it's doing. The first one is not that interesting. The second one a little bit more, because all of the parts of the shape are actually warping. And then we're going to do that again. And this time it's going to be a little bit more of a movement. Maybe a little bit less of a actual morph, but it will look cool. So the thing is, I want these to move around because you get very interesting things if you just move them. You can turn them into actual shapes. I just noticed that it was close to a heart shape. If you want to make a heart shape, that's fine too. Heart shapes are easy. Yeah, okay. Not like this, but more like this. Okay, it's a little bit sharp here. Let's put it like this, I guess. And then this like this. I don't know. Yeah, okay. So this one is a little bit more complex, and you can see that it actually crosses over on itself. If you don't like that, just go find the well, the part where it actually happens, just find the middle part of that and then just adjust it to, well, to not do that. In this case, you know, let me change the mask color into dark blue so we can actually see what's happening. You can see that this point broke, so it's not actually linear anymore. If I move one of the handles, let me show you. If I move one of the handles, the other one just stays there. And that is not what we want normally. We want to have these nice shapes. So just go and take your Convert Vertex tool. Click the point once, click the point twice, and it will be back. So and then you can edit it as you want. So yeah, now it will no longer cross over itself because we corrected for that. And yeah, well, that's just the way it is. You can see that it's still broken at spots, and if you want to fix that, yeah, you would have to go frame by frame. I don't really mind it too much because it's just a morph. It's just that, yeah, well, editing with these lines disconnected from each other is a real hassle, because you can get these very sharp edges, and we want to have a kind of round shape. So let's go back to being a square, because why not? So half a second later, I guess. Well, we're working in half seconds here, so why not? Yeah, we're just going to hit shape here and just say reset to rectangle. Make sure if it's already saying rectangle, just make sure you have the mark on there. Yeah, that's obviously not what I wanted. It's a little bit very much too big. So we're going to once again set it to 540 to 740. And what was this? That was 260 to 460. There you go. That's the original shape. If you don't like that, you can reset it to something else. But yeah, you can see it once again crosses over itself. If you want to correct that, you can once again do that. You can also make the shape just different. I don't know. Anyhow, so we have this now. Let's make it that it kind of implodes on itself. That could happen, right? So we're going to do quarter seconds now. We are currently at 16, which means that 8 on. This is 8 further. We're going to make a keyframe. We're going to make a bunch of keyframes first. 32. Well, that's actually the second mark. We're going to make a keyframe. And then 8. And then 16. Okay, we're going to make it look like it's unstable, which sounds really weird, but trust me, it is. So we're going to make it, let's say, well, no. Yeah, we can actually do it here. It would be good enough. 540 would become 590, and then this would, no, it's completely stupid to do it here. Sorry about that. So this is the last one. Yeah, it morphed back here. And we're going to do this with scale. So hit S on your layer. And the scale has already been edited, apparently. So just make a keyframe at the last available location of your animation, just to make sure that it's set, so that you won't have problems with it. And then obviously we want to do the same thing again. Quarter seconds, right? Yeah, so 24. I was at the right spot. So scale. Hang on, I'm just going to select scale. You can do that by hitting S twice. I'm going to also shut off this layer just to make it a little more, well, convenient for me. It's such a messy stuff especially in that shape layer. 8. So yeah, scale is not the best thing to use because it kind of dilutes your pixels, but it's fine for now. We're going to make it into, let's say 120%, and then it's going to be, so that's plus 20%, that's how I normally remember it. Then minus 10%, then plus 5%, and oh, I do that wrong. I should start with the plus 2.5. So 102,5. It doesn't accept points. You have to do it with comma. So that's 2.5. Then minus 5 plus 10. So 110. And then plus 20. So that's no, I had plus, right? I had plus. So minus 20. And then 24, yes. So we have minus 20, which means that we have to get plus 40, 140, and this is the moment it explodes. So we're going to add an explosion to it at this moment. For that, we're going to use a different color. We're going to go to Layer, New Solid, because we only have a few layers yet, and we need to get more of them. So, red solid is going to be above everything else, because why not? Well, because we can't see what's happening, that's why. It should be above everything else though. Yeah. And we're going to draw a little thing on it, because that's what we do, right? Just 4 points. Then go to mask, so either hit M or use this little triangle in front of the layer to go to this and then masks, and then mask 1 if it's not already selected. It probably isn't. Reset to ellipse because we want to have a circular explosion, and we're going to set the well, this entire thing to kind of be, let's say, 200 big. Don't really know. 500. Yeah, well, let's make it 200. I'm going to use the feather anyway, so it doesn't matter if we have to scale it too much. So that would be 640 minus 200. So that's 440. And that is plus 200, so that's 840. And then 360 minus 200, so that's 160. And then plus 200. That will make it 560, and that makes it a huge thing. So to make sure that it doesn't really look like that all of a sudden, we're going to obviously do something with the scale. So hit S for scale, set it to something. Well, I guess 0 would be a nice thing to have, and then just let it move outwards in, like, I don't know, where were we? Okay. We're going to use 4 frames here to let it move outwards to 100%, maybe even more. No, we need more than that. Let's move it out like 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, so it takes 4 frames now to actually cover the thing, where we want it to take way less. Let's set it to 200, and then no, we're going to move forward. We're going to use 8 frames. So we're going to use 8 frames, which is a quarter second, to make it big enough to actually cover the entire screen. Okay, so that's this big, 375% apparently. Which means that now it will cover the entire shape in two frames. Which is great because we want to get rid of this shape. So we want to get rid of the entire layer that's underneath here, which is this layer. And let's just set this to, I don't know, how should we do this? Okay, let's just move out the mask. At this point, it's exploding. The mask is working. Hang on. Yeah, so it's going to pulsate a little bit, and then at this point we need to see what the mask is doing. Why isn't my thing showing up? Oh, I did that with scale, right. So at this point we want our mask still to be there, then 1, 2, at this point this is the last part where our mask is available. So set your mask path, and then the next frame, so go to the next frame, page down, and just move the mask path out of there. Selection tool, obviously. There we go. Mask path out of here. So now the explosion is going to happen, and we're going to be stuck with nothing. Except for a new red background, where we can start over if we want to, but we don't. We're going to make a secondary explosion on top of the first one, just because we can. Layer, new. We're still not done with the square, by the way, because we need to fix something. Solid. New solid is going to be this color. It's going to copy the entire thing. I should just make it way easier for myself. Just delete the layer. Just duplicate this layer. Just edit, duplicate, or Control D, and just set the solid settings. I can't believe I actually wanted to do that difficultly. Is that even a word? Anyhow, the only thing we want to change here is we want to change the timing. So hit U, pick up the skill properties, and just make sure that you're like 1, 2, 3, 4 away, and then actually 2 seems to be the right call. 1, 2, and then it starts to form. So yeah, just move it over 2 pixels or 2 keyframes. Then hit Control D once again, because, well, we're not done yet. We want to make a good explosion. Solid settings, pick the next color. I guess that's that one. And then just do exactly the same thing. Just hit U on your new mask and move over. So select both of them, move them over 2 pixels, and then you can see that the next one comes in. And I guess we can do that once again. Sure. Control D, U, select them, move them over, and change the solid settings to this color. Yeah, I want the background layer to be the last one. Oh, hang on. I did move that, right? Yep. And then the last one, so that is going to be our background layer. And then it's going to wipe the entire slate clean, and maybe start over if we want to. Hit U, select both of them, move them over 2, and then layer, solid settings, pick the background color, and this should then wipe the entire screen. Cool. So all of that has been done then, and at this point, so there's nothing else left on the screen now. We could actually start over, because in the beginning there was also nothing on the screen, and we can just, why is there a dot on the screen? Oh, right, from our shape layer. Hang on, let's fix that first, and then we can fix the last thing that's actually still a problem. So just 1 frame before your path starts, and we have two different paths, so yeah. Anyway, one frame before it starts, we want to set another keyframe and move the entire thing out of the way so that it is not there anywhere before there. I kind of assumed it wouldn't be a problem, but apparently it was, so we're just going to move them outside. Okay, mask path, or no, just path. Just select everything. Now there's no longer a white pixel, and it still does exactly the same thing. Change its color, blah blah blah, explosion, and then we can start over if we wanted to. Yeah, okay, that's cool. We have some kind of sequence going now, and yeah, we needed to change one more thing because I set this, I made this pulsating square, but that pulsating square needs to be like correct, and currently it is not. So it's over here somewhere. No, this is all the morphs. It's with, oh yeah, it's with scale. So just, hit your layer, hit S, and then you can see it. There you go. What we want to do is we want to go to the graph editor here. Then we want to go and, oh, here you go. Fit all graphs to screen. Select scale first. Fit all to screen, and here you can see what's happening. So currently it's not very smooth. Select the entire region that you want to zoom in on, and then you can fit selection to view. So yeah, first of all, we're going to go to our convert vertex tool and just convert all of them to be a little nicer to, well, me. Yeah, maybe you don't want this first one. I don't know. I don't know how to deselect them in this mode, so just going to select this one and then convert that one back to linear. You don't have to, you can keep it there. I just want to make sure that it stays at exactly 100% before this. You can also make it an easy out, I guess. Now this is going to be already a lot smoother now, but you can smooth it out by making it even more. So dragging out these handles makes the transition a little bit smoother. And obviously it's supposed to be a little bit violent in the end, but that's the design. So, but the transition should still be smooth, even though it's a little bit violent in the end. Should still be good. So what it looks like now is it zooms in a little bit, or well, it moves out a little bit, in a little bit, and out, and then in, and then out. Yeah, then very hard out. So this one is like this. It will move really quickly now. Bam! And that's when the explosion happens. And yes, for the first 2 frames. So this is where the thing ends. And then for the first 2 frames, it will just stand there, but you won't even be able to notice it if everything goes well, because that's 1/16th of a second, and it's not very long. There's the explosion, it wipes everything, and then, yeah, we can start over if we want to. And, yeah, well, that's how we designed it, right? I'm not sure what just happened and why my thing just disappeared, but... yeah, try to keep them horizontal, because it would look weird otherwise. Well, I guess in this case it doesn't really matter too much, but yeah, well, okay. So that's what we made now. As I said, you can start over, you can also continue on. We use all colors. Let's hide the color palette so that it doesn't block our thing. We can make some handles for these things. It would actually be cute. So here on our red solid we have the handles, and the slice thingies. And the slice thingies just come out of nowhere, it seems. So we can actually pop on something to make them appear not out of nowhere, but out of at least somewhere, by making this this square just have something in the middle. Let's say like, okay, I don't know. Shape layer would be the best way to do that, I guess. And we already have one, so we might as well use it. Let's first of all turn back our color palette. Then go to the shape layer, go to fill, because we don't want it to be yellow. We want it to be one of our colors. I guess this then? Yeah. Let's make it into a little plus sign or something like that. Rectangle tool. Not too big, but also not too small. You have to be able to notice it, of course. So we're going to duplicate this one and then rotate it. Hopefully I can. Should be able to, right? Rotation 90 degrees. And there you go. Now I'm going to pick up both of them. I should actually, because I'm going to need multiples. Yeah, I'm going to need 2, so it's not too much of a hassle. They should not have strokes. I just realized. Yeah, let's just remake them, because otherwise, stroke. Click the actual word stroke, and then you can set it to 0, which is the thing with the line through it. Hang on. The thing with the line through it means no, I don't want that. And we're going to remake them. Okay, I don't know what I had before. Let's just duplicate it. Control D once again. Rotate. I think I need to do it like this. Otherwise it rotates the entire layer. Okay, cool. That looks better. Move them to the middle. No. Move. Oh my god. Position. No, that's the entire layer position. This is why I hate shape layers, but hey, they can come in very handy sometimes. Transform then. I guess we can just edit the position like this, although it's kind of not the way you want to do that. Position and then the Y. Oh. Position. Just about here, and then Y position just about here. Okay. Let's turn off the graph editor. I haven't, or I don't need it, and it's kind of a distraction. So we're going to set a waypoint over here for the position. So this position, not the layer position. The other one as well. Oh, it's already activated. Yeah, because I selected both of them, it will do the same thing to both, which is excellent. Oh, no, 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 no. Oh. It now turned off the stroke for my other things as well. Man, I hate these shape layers. Let me just try to fix that first, because if I can't make this work again. What is going on here? Why is this being so dumb? I do have it set to stroke width 5, yet it draws no line. That just seems wrong. Yeah, it's now some kind of pinkish color and it's like 1 pixel. Shape layers, I hate thee. Man, how do I turn this back? Do I just select the shape layer and turn it back on? I did not know this was going to happen, obviously. No, the fill is not the problem. The fill is okay. It's the stroke that is the problem. I just need it to be this, I guess. Yeah, so apparently, even though every single aspect of this has stroke, it doesn't really look at that. It looks at the entire layer. Yeah, maybe it's fixed in the next one, but for now, I'm just going to delete this, and I guess I'm going to make a new layer with, yeah, with the thing I want. Hopefully I didn't destroy the rest. No, it seems fine. Yep. So we're just going to lock this one and not touch that again. So let's make a new layer. And yeah, I'm going to make it a solid. Now the color, I don't know. Oh, yeah, I do know. Effects, no. Layer, solid settings. There we go. Which one do we have? I'm going to pick this one. I don't know which I had before. I'm going to put it with the shape layer, I guess. And I'm going to draw a nice shape. We can actually make something else, like a star. Star would be cool. We can actually make a nice symmetrical one, that is. Yeah, if you can't get a nice symmetrical star, or a nice vertical star, I mean, just make it rotate and nobody will notice. It's probably what I'm doing anyway. Yeah, so now that we have this, we want to have the mask path to the exact amount that we wanted. 600 to, no, it's only 620 to 660. That's what I wanted. So it's minus 20, that makes this 340 to 380. Yeah, okay. So now it's exactly in the middle, and that's why we wanted it. And now we are probably going to have to duplicate that a number of times, but yeah, this is the advantage of solids. You can just hit the mask, hit Control D, and yeah, well, whatever. It's all up to you what you use, of course. But yeah, to me, this is just the way to work. I don't know. It just seems weird to do it with the shape layers, especially with my hatred of them. Yeah, that's not the right spot to make these. We're going to find the spot where the shapes start to, well, these lines start, which is this frame. Well, you can't really see it, I guess, but well, you can find it. You know where it is. So at this point, the stars need to be moving. So at this point, they need to be at this spot. Before this, yeah, you can either make them warp in with the rest, or you can just plop them into existence, whatever you want. I am going to make them scale. So I'm going to hit the S here, let's close this shape layer. I'm going to make the S, well, I guess I have to type it in, and then go to the point where we actually want it to be, which is this, and just set it to 100. Then we're also going to make the rotation. So rotation, hit U. Then rotation is going to be minus 180. That's what I had for the other one. So they will rotate in together. And then we're going to set this to 0. And now they will rotate and morph in together, or scale in together, I guess. So at this point, we're going to find the exact spot with page up, page down, where they're maximum. I'm going to hit the mask path for one of them. And oh, that's not what I wanted. Oh, I have the wrong thing selected, that's why. So just hit the mask path, just put it on the end of the line. Then hit the mask path on the other one and just put it on the end of the line. I know, right? So difficult. And then we have to remake the mask, or not remake it, but duplicate it again, because we want to have one of them in the middle at all times. Well, not at all times, but at this point. So the third one is going to lose this one. It's going to stay in the middle. And then these two are going to disappear. Well, one of them is going to disappear. Number 1 is going to disappear right after being done with what it was supposed to do. So it drags out the line and then it disappears. The second one at the same frame is going to do something completely different, namely go back to the original position. So I'm just going to copy paste Control C, Control V, that thing into place where it was supposed to be. So both of them appear to disappear, but I don't have to have a fourth mask now. And now these things are going to help with this line. So page up, page down to find the right spot. Then mask path 2 is going to go over there, and mask path 3 is going to go over there. Okay, and then one frame on, they are both going to move out of the way. So yeah, all three of them are going to move out of the way eventually, and hopefully I'm not rotating. Oh no, this is a new layer, never mind. So yeah, they're just going to stay there. Doesn't matter. Well, you can also just hit the split on this layer. So I'm going to go one frame forward, I guess. Edit split layer, and you can delete everything afterwards. And that way they're actually gone, and they can never bother you again. You can do that with any layer. I didn't do it this tutorial. I normally use it quite a lot because it makes it easier to see what's happening. You can see that my stars are doing brilliantly. So yeah, morph, 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 then explode, and then we can start over. Okay. Is there anything more we can do to this, or we want to do to this? I don't think so. I think it looks okay-ish. The color scheme was a little bit bright, but I picked that because the pixogram in my video will then be nice and bright, and that is what draws people to it. Apparently, I didn't make that up. It's apparently the way it works. But yeah, we can of course add way more to this. Like we can add an explosion. Okay, let me show you what you can do with this if you want to do more. Like at this point, the first line explodes, and where is this guy going? Who are you? Is that this guy? Oh, right. It is that guy. Yeah, so I didn't set the thing correctly. I think I'm one frame too early here, or 3 frames too early. Right. So I need to set this one there and then copy this one there so that they don't move for 3 frames. I forgot I actually had a thing set there. Maybe it's even 4 frames. I don't know. Let's go to the shape layer and see where we are. Zoom in if you want. So yeah, you can see here that shape 2 starts over here, or has a frame over here. So it starts building from there. Yeah, so this seems to be right now. So yeah, check your animation when you're working on it. I'm going to just go to this point where it's maximum and start a small explosion underneath everything else, just for the funs of it. Okay, let's make a new layer, new solid, and let's make it, I don't know, let's make it like this pink color, magenta I guess. Put it underneath everything except for the background layer. We're going to hit T for transparency, or well, it's labeled as opacity, but still, I'm going to set it to like 20%. And we're going to pick up our pen tool. Then we're going to go to masks. Because we just created a mask, we're going to set the shape once again to an ellipse, and it's going to run from, I don't know, 540 to 740, and from 260 to 460. It's kind of our standard size, and I needed to reset to ellipse. There you go. Then we're going to hit the scaling button. So hit S and just hit the scale to 100% at this point. Let's say, hang on, how long should I have? Oh yeah, let's put it to the moment before it starts spawning the second line. Hit the scale, or set the scale button to, yeah, that seems about right, 250%. Then we're going to feather it out. Hit F or just go mask feather. So you can just hit mask feather. 35 pixels. Yeah, just drag it out to something. I don't really mind. And we're going to add a new mask to it. So we're going to add a second mask. Just duplicate this one. It should be good enough. And just scale it back a little bit with the mask shape. No, I'm just going to do it by hand. I don't really care. So you can make it like centered. You can also make it decentered if you want to. Like you can center it like I'm trying to do now, which you are better off just, yeah, typing in. Reset to ellipse. But you can also just make it decentered on purpose. So if you put it like that, then you can just do it by hand. Anyway, that second mask is going to be a subtract mask instead of an additive mask. Why do I have mask 2 here? Who are you? Oh, it's just 1 point on the edge here. Apparently a mistake. So it's going to be a subtract mask, and it's supposed to... Okay, that's weird. It's supposed to subtract from the original one. Let's see how that works. No. Ah, I don't want to think about this. I just assumed this would work. So stupid, I know. Anyhow, the first mask is going to do this. And hang on. I deleted. So the first mask is not doing that. The first mask does this, makes the actual explosion, and I edited the wrong one, I just realized. That's why this doesn't work. Now I have to reverse them, and then it should work, yeah. So I edited the wrong one, that's why it didn't work the way I thought it should work. Feather should be lower. Let's make it 10. Otherwise we can't see anything. So yeah, the way it works is you first add the big circle and then you subtract the small circle, which isn't actually a circle, but yeah, you get the point. The reason it works like that, or the reason it didn't work, is because I had them reversed. So I first subtracted the entire screen and then wanted to add something, and that didn't work because there was nothing left. Let's set mask 1 back to an ellipse. I edited it a little bit. You can of course edit it by hand. I just like the perfect ellipses. Okay, now what we're going to do is we're going to just find that initial thing. Oh no, we already have the explosion. Okay, cool. That means that the moment this one comes in, so here, that's 1 frame after our last edit. We're going to scale it back, or no, we're going to scale it back to 0. And then we can actually use it for the second explosion as well. So the second explosion is here. I don't know if I started when the things were still available. Yes, I did. So let's put that over here. Yes. Copy paste the first one back. That's Control C, Control V. Then rotate the entire layer, I guess. Might as well. So the frame before then, I'm going to mark that, set it to 0 so that it won't affect anything in front of it. And then this one is going to be 90 degrees rotated. Although another 45 wouldn't go amiss. No. What did I typed something wrong. 135, that's what I wanted. 135. I think I typed an extra 0. Yeah, and I think this one should be 45. No, it should be minus 45. Yes, that's what it should be. This way it blows up. I just saw it. Come on, there you go. So it blows up to the side. Actually, it's the wrong side. It needs to be top left, so it does need to be 45. Right. I get confused by the line that was actually on screen, which was stupid. Anyhow, it's now rotated, and now we can use the other scale thing, this one, to actually, how much was between that? So that's from 8 to 12, so 4, 24. Just copy paste that in there. That's the size of the explosion apparently. It's the same explosion, you can of course make a different one. And then the next frame, we're going to remove our layer, so Control Shift D, or split layer. Control Shift D doesn't work for me because my recording software will actually activate a little pen to draw on the screen, which is not really what I want. But yeah, it doesn't know that. And it gets priority over whatever I'm doing. So yeah, we get a little explosion. You can see here, and that's why you need to check your stuff, that was not what we wanted. So we don't want our layer to exist in front of this point. because it would be visible. Split layer. Oh, apparently I didn't select it. That was not cool. Split layer. Control Z to undo, in case you're wondering. So it will explode a little bit, and yeah, if you don't like the explosions, you can of course make your own. It's a little more subtle because it has like this opacity thing going, and if you don't like that or whatever, you can make your own. You can of course make them different color, different shape, different size. I'm just demonstrating how to make it. That's all. Yeah, okay. Now that we're done, we can actually set our composition size first. So we're going to find the end of our composition. And so that's over here after the explosion. We can say like, okay, 708. Let's make that 716. That's 7.5 seconds. So go to composition settings. Go to 7 seconds. Oh, 7 seconds. And then 16 because it's base 32. So it's frame 16. And then it should cut out at frame 16. Keep in mind that frame 16 will not be available. That's why you need to pick a few frames after you're actually done. And in fact, you can loop it, as I said. So if you want to do that, just make a new composition. It doesn't matter what it is because it's going to be overwritten anyway. Well, it has to be the same size. Then pick up in your project folder, pick up comp1, just plop it in there, and then plop it in there again, and then just move this one 716 to the right. So I don't know where 716 is, of course. This composition has to be a different setting, of course. Let's make it 15 seconds. So 716 should be about halfway through, and actually exactly there. So yeah, now you have 2. So now the explosion happens and then it just starts over again. Cool. Anyway, that's all I have for now. Hope you enjoyed, and I will see you next time.